Marshall.
But, yeah, I guess we sort of tend to write a lot of stuff about, you know, our faith is the most important thing that we're trying to get across in our music. Other than that and guitar parts, and I guess for me, I sort of tend to write stuff that I get frustrated about, and you know, things that frustrate me within the church politics, or within, you know, battles that you face with your own faith and that sort of thing. And I try and write them in a way of sometimes perhaps a little bit skeptical, but try and turn it into an encouraging sort of message.
Or a song of hope.
Yeah, without being too aggressively scathing or something.
Yeah.
Because that can sometimes be a way that it can come out sometimes, but try and manipulate it into something more positive, much more positive.
That sounds good. Yeah, I really like you guys' sound. So here we have, might just get a shot of this if you can. So.
Yep.
And the next one.
Yeah, and what's it nice to get this? Oh, it's been waxed.
I wondered if that was like actually
It's
got.
been waxed.
Do you have another one?
No, I just
No,
pulled it
just
off.
rip the wax off. Oh, that's
Wax on, wax off.
No, it's gonna leave a wax lightly.
It's going to be waxed.
Grab another one.
That'll be alright, won't it?
That's
Unless
fine.
you don't mind a bit of wax on your record.
Wax the record.
You like your wax, don't you, Langy?
Yeah, I like wax. It's fun to play with.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
Drip it all over yourself.
Cool. So do you want to just talk about these two?
Yeah.
Or do you want to talk about the other, the back catalogue as well?
Oh, probably more so about
Yeah,
these
'cause
two.
this is really when it's starting to cook.
Yeah, that's it. We've started to sort of know what we're doing.
All right. Do you want to go into the production of it, or and the lyrics? Because the lyrics are sick on this one.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Whichever you want to talk about,
alright,
we'll just try and
yeah,
run through
alright.
it.
Yeah, well, let's get into how it was made, because this one really hit the town. One, Live Again. So
Yeah.
how did this one come together?
Live Again sort of came about out of it, I guess, a thinking which is challenging so much of us today, and as Christian people, which is the world has so much to offer, and in the Western world it's so easy to just lose yourself in what the world can offer you, rather than, you know, walk the walk and hold on to your faith, because it's just, you know, there's so much in your face every day, advertising, marketing, and so much, but it doesn't satisfy you at all, and it doesn't satisfy you, you know, your soul. And this song Live Again was born out of that, is that, you know, everyone yearns to be satisfied on a deeper level, and things that the world have to offer generally don't satisfy on a deeper level. They might satisfy you for some time, but then it kind of seems to fade away and leaves you kind of withered. And that song was born about, you know, looking for basically this seeking for God to fill that, rather than the world to fill that, and make you whole. And it just came out of that. And the other songs that sort of came with it, one's about probably a little bit similar, in Babylon, about the materialism in the Western world, and how much that's sort of impacting on things. And in Revelation it seems to be that God's calling his people out of that, and out of that sort of situation, and wants them to not be demonized by possessions and those sort of things, but to be free from those, and free to worship him and serve him and do what he wants them to do, rather than get caught up with those things. And the sound for this is it's pretty solid sort of rock and roll. And this was we wrote these songs. A couple of them, I think, I wrote one of them, and one of them I think was born out of something that Worf had written, and we combined a couple of songs together and just went away and for a weekend and sort of solidified them a bit more, and then went into where did we do this all in the studio? We did, didn't we?
I mean, to start off with, a lot of the songs originate from just basic ideas, and then we just work them solidly. And I think Live Again was one of those songs where we worked solidly. I think Andrew and myself probably went up to the shack Did we on that one? Might have
Yeah,
been.
we might have. Yeah,
And
went away
just
right.
worked it solidly before we brought it to a band and did it that way. And we did a fair. I suppose it was our first real big effort of doing a solid amount of pre-production for that one. We got some extra players in for that, and
Yeah, we did too, didn't we? Keyboard and
a bit
cello
of cello
and
with
added
Andy
to it.
Scott. And I mean, we've done that kind of stuff before. We've put keyboards on it. We even did a choir at one stage, which was fun on one of the
Yeah.
back catalogue things, and that's actually probably one of my favourite things that one's done, is that little section of a choir. But we did a lot of pre-production, then we went into Greg Anson's studio. What does he call himself? Bonsai.
Bonsai Studio.
That's probably another thing of the scene. You know, you've got your studios where your bands go into, and Greg does a lot. Has had a big association with the Christian bands coming
SDR
through.
and Darren Thompson
Yeah.
and I think Sarah. No, I think mainly SDR's done stuff there, and also who else? JR's band.
Yeah. What is it called?
It escapes me at the moment. What's his band called? This Way Up.
This Way Up. That's the one. They did a couple of EPs there as well, and yeah, he's a really good guy, and he's got some really good gear, and through an awesome. We're fortunate enough to be going to, Dwayne and myself go to the same church with Tim Rolack, who's kind of been at the forefront of most recordings. When there's need to be some vocals or a demo put down, he's kind of the man, and we've been fortunate to have a really good association with those kind of guys, and with.
If you see the underground as being like an opportunity for Christian bands to get out and play in front of the public, well, Tim Rolack's the kind of guy that gives bands opportunity to actually record at the other end, to put music down, and it's been such a blessing to get to know him and work with him, and Richard Wonke as well, and both of those guys have been very influential in recording both of these CDs, and
basically everything we've done.
Yeah, and helping craft out the sound that we've been after. You know, it's one of those things to say, we like the sound of this band. Can you get our guitar to sound a bit like that, or we like a vocal effect on this band? Can we sort of borrow that idea? And for someone to sort of put that together, these guys have been very influential for us and helpful in that way.
And highly passionate about it as well. It's not just something that they have to do, it's just something they love doing.
Yeah, and this is the other one that came out, which is Reconciled. There's blood on the tracks.
Blood on the tracks. What's the deal with that?
Well, it's quite clever how Sam did this. He's our bass player, and if you can see that, Matt, you can hold it up or whichever. Yeah. But there's two tracks merging and blood on the tracks, and the idea was that the song was born out of the main theme there is reconciliation, forgiveness, that type of thing, and it was his art, the way he's got that artwork to work is in the sense of two things becoming one, being reconciled by God, and hence the blood spilt there. You know, Jesus' blood helping to reconcile things, and for me that was sorry.
I thought it was more of a thing of having two paths to choose from, one of death and one of life. The train tracks kind of split from there.
That's another interpretation.
One's got blood all over them and one doesn't.
You can see how denominations start. Different interpretations. But
going on what sounds of.
Yeah, but that Reconciled being the lead song off that one as well was was written about, you know, when you have if someone's done something which could be a sinful act, and you know they've done it, but they don't know that you know that they've done it, and that sometimes can be a case of you knowing someone's acted in a particular way sometimes causes you to think of them in a different manner, or to perhaps even treat them in a different way. And the last thing that Jesus wants is for sin to, you know, get in between him and his people. And you know, when you are offer yourself up to God for and repent of the things that you've done and ask for forgiveness, you are when you're forgiven in your own life, you're able to forgive those people around you and prevent those barriers to be put up between you. And that's where that song sort of was born out of. And we this one's been done on a much more more of a budget. And again, with Tim Rawlack and Richard Wunke, we recorded this in a schoolroom, and it was great. Just had a weekend and put most of the beds down, and then most of the rest of it was just done in this room, wasn't it?
Right here, which is kind of really a challenge for us. I suppose it was another step. It's one thing to be a musician, it's another thing to basically produce and engineer a CD.
Engineer, yeah.
And that's what we set about with this CD, and I think we're pretty proud. Well, I'm probably the most proudest of any of our recordings, just because, you know, it's the blood and the sweat and the tears that have gone into it, and, you know, just the nights where we'd be in the room and Dwayne would be working on something on the computer program and I'd be working on here, and you'd hear it, yeah, got it, yeah, finally, you know, like you'd work out how to like move like a kick drum or something.
Just how to do something in the program.
Yeah, it's just
Hey,
one of those.
this is how you do it.
Yeah, that's it, and we go, oh, unreal, you know this, and fortunately, a couple of like Andrew's bought up some stuff, and I've bought up some stuff. We've all started to acquire some gear, and I think it's kind of a really exciting time for the band in terms of getting demo stuff out, produced by ourselves and recorded by ourselves, and being done, I suppose essentially on a
Very tight budget.
tight budget, but effective, I suppose, and with the nature of the digital medium today, you can do it.
I mean, most of this was recorded on Tuesdays, that's how tight it was. So,
Yeah, as tight as Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you know, that was
I think everything on that was basically even down to the artwork was all done by ourselves. You know, we did the artwork. We actually duplicated the CD ourselves.
Even the printing of that one stamp.
We stamped it. We sat there for hours just stamping it.
That's a stamp. So yeah, it came out really well. We've just been blessed that we've been able the opportunity to do this. And for us, this music is, you know, we're very passionate about what we're trying to get across, but we don't want it just to be limited to God's people and sort of preaching to the converted for using a cliche, but to be. Yeah, that's a clever idea.
Might only be a 2-second shot in between, but it just makes the.
That
Monkey, you
lasts
can
for
be in
2
charge of the
minutes, I
monkey.
think.
Hang on, I'll just get.
We reckon it sounds like Dwayne, eh? His laugh.
It fully sounds like him.
Girlfriend.
See
It
this?
was like,
Dwayne's got a bit of a Krusty the Clown laugh, and that's how he sort of said.
The second half, not the first half.
yeah, this is not so much like Dwayne.
This
Yeah,
one's
Just
coming up.
wait for it. This is like Dwayne.
That's Dwayne.
Dwayne. Look at him. I love that ending. That's gold.
Actually, we might do that again, but it's just so so we get the audio on that. So we won't have everyone talking.
Nice and close for that.
Yeah. Because you're right, that last bit.
Okay.
Yes, again. That is going to be classic. We've seen Wolf play with that, and there's going to be some scene with. So you're filming this one, mate?
No, I'll give it back to Luke and see it. He's going to get the gnome and Dwayne.
Just needs more
Already
shots.
done it.
Oh, you got this shot, have you?
I've done every shot there is.
What with the gnome and Dwayne?
Yeah, I've done that as well.
With that, and then we'll just do perhaps the future of Christian music.
Do that.